Japanese people are asking, why do our politicians love China so much? Recently, tourist visas for Chinese nationals have been relaxed. They buy up Japanese land like it's on sale. And even though they don't pay taxes here, some are allowed to use Japan's national health insurance system. And some Chinese students get free scholarships. Meanwhile, Japanese students have to pay back big student loans. Some say our politicians are like ninjas working for China, but they are bad at hiding it. Everyone sees they are taking bribes. One of the hottest topics on Japanese social media right now is this. Tokyo University wants to accept Harvard students who were rejected by Trump. It's supposed to be temporary, but they are offering free tuition and scholarships, a very sweet deal. And many believe a large portion of those students are Chinese nationals. Trump said some of those students might be spies. If we take that seriously, even hypothetically, then Japan is using tax money to bring in young foreign ninjas. That's pretty sad. The home of ninjas now has to pay to invite them. I know, for young foreign ninjas, Japan might not be a good place anymore. The ninja jobs are already taken by other ninjas, so there's nothing left for them to do. But hey, where ninjas were born. Yes, Japan. Let's have some pride. Tokyo University should be tougher, or at least learn how to take bribes better, like our politicians. Tokyo University say they are doing it for DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. But let's be honest, even America couldn't make DEI work. Just ask Kamala Harris. This video will show you why are Japanese politicians helping China's silent invasion and what's really going on behind the scenes.
Meshida.
Recently, a lot of Japanese land has been bought by Chinese people. Not only tourist spots, but also places important for security reasons, like near our self-defense forces. In 1995, Prime Minister of China said, Japan may disappear in 40 years. By 2035, it means Japan will become China's Japan. So today, we will report on what is happening with Japanese land.
Nowadays, a lot of Japanese land has been bought by Chinese people.
I have a lot of Chinese friends. They are nice and good people. I like them. So, it's no problem.
I understand that, but China has the National Defense Mobilization Law. So, if the Chinese Communist Party orders them to, they have to do as told, and all their personal property will belong to the Chinese Communist Party.
Really? So that means all the real estate would also become the Chinese Communist Party's land? For Chinese people, it's like having a Japanese wife. Most of their salary is taken.
Yes, but a Japanese wife takes it every month.
Kenza, all Chinese people are just buying our land for their businesses. You take it too seriously. And before, the Chinese leader said, look back at our history. We built the Great Wall of China to defend our country. We Chinese don't have aggressive genes.
Meshida-san, if the Great Wall of China was only for defense, why is it located inland now instead of at the border?
They might relocate it.
Meshida-san, the Great Wall of China is a fortress. It's not your favorite Chinese restaurant, the Great Wall of China in Tokyo.
If the national defense mobilization is put into practice, will the Great Wall of China in Tokyo become part of the actual Great Wall?
No, it will become part of the front. In Japan, we don't have any laws restricting foreign people from buying Japanese land. So, foreigners can buy our land easily and legally.
Foreigners always regard the Japanese as very non-diverse. But listen, we Japanese allow foreigners to buy our land. We accept diversity.
Or China City. In China, their lands are all the Chinese Communist Party's property, so they can only rent the land and can never buy it. However, in Japan, they can buy and own land. Interest rates for loans are low, and it's easy to immigrate to Japan. That's why many rich Chinese people buy Japanese land.
As a result, nowadays, there are many Chinese restaurants in Japan.
The problem is that many important places have been bought by Chinese people. For example, places important for security reasons, like near our self-defense forces, water sources, nuclear power plants, famous resort areas, and tourist spots. And it's very easy to start a dummy corporation in Japan. For some places, we don't know who has bought the land. That's why a lot more places are bought by Chinese people than we realize.
But it seems a serious problem that many tactically important places have been bought. As you already know, Japan is famous for spying, and Japan is called Spies Heaven. I'm afraid that a lot of our country's important information has definitely been stolen.
Unlike other developed countries, we don't have spying prevention laws. Our spying prevention laws are vetoed by undercover spies. Before, one of Russia's KGB's majors said, spies don't want to work in Japan because they have to work so hard. Japan is hell for us.
In Japan, there is so much information to gather. They can't even take holidays.
That's our Japanese government's strategy. The same as Japanese employees. They try to kill spies by overworking them.
Ken-san, I have a joke. A Japanese journalist who was researching death from overwork worked himself to death.
Meshida-san, that's not a joke. It actually happened in Japan.
Anyway, we don't have any laws that restrict foreigners from buying our lands.
In 2021, we finally made a land regulation law which restricts people from using land within 1 kilometer of important places. But this law only restricts the purpose of use. People can still buy it.
If they are going to make a law, why don't they go all the way and ban the sale of the land?
Because our constitution prohibits the government from restricting people's private rights. And when we made a deal with the WTO, America and the European countries made an exception for land being bought by foreigners. But our Japanese government didn't because they were aiming to get investment from foreign capital.
But now we are facing a serious problem. Why don't our politicians change the law? Why do they pretend not to see these facts?
It's well known that many Japanese politicians changed to a pro-China stance after visiting Beijing. They are warmly welcomed and treated as special guests, and it's whispered that their wallets and dicks are dyed red.
Ken-san, I came up with a funny joke. If men want to be rich and make love to beautiful women, they always try to become a celebrity or a successful businessman. But that's wrong. The best way is to become a politician and visit China. All your dreams will come true.
Meshida-san, stop shooting this boring video and aim to be a politician.
Ken-san, don't be silly. Your katana is all rusty. Now, we are facing a crisis in our country's defenses. You shouldn't prioritize your desires over national interest. You are a horrible Japanese person. You are the same as our politicians.
In particular, the situation in Hokkaido is very serious.
I know that. For example, in the Niseko areas, known as a famous ski resort, more than 60% of the land is bought by Chinese money.
Not only Niseko, but also other famous resort areas have been bought by Chinese people. In Japan, we have a low birth rate and an aging society, and many young people move to the big city. So, in the countryside, the population is increasing. The local government's financial situations are so bad that they sell their land to Chinese people to try and revitalize the area. Then, instead of revitalized, these kinds of areas have been Chinaized.
In the future, there will be many pandas in Hokkaido.
And their local food will become Peking duck. Furthermore, many water sources have been bought by Chinese money.
Hokkaido is known for its beautiful water, and as long as there is a water source, Chinese people could easily build their own city.
Then, if many Chinese immigrants move there, it will become the Hokkaido autonomous region. Meshida-san, why do you use that difficult word?
My comedian friend, Lai-chan, she's a QE girl, always check my script, and she changed a lot and used difficult words.
White bitch.
We will have extraterritorial places, not only on American military bases, but also all across the countryside.
And after making it an autonomous region, the Chinese Communist Party will create their own revisionist history books.
Then, by the time we notice, there will be more Chinese people than local Japanese. So, local Japanese people will be treated as gaijin or foreigners.
Oh my god, that's terrible. I couldn't endure it. I don't want to be a gaijin in Japan. People look at you weirdly. When you rent a house, you have to pay the gaijin tax. And you go to public bath, people look at your banana. It's awful.
Your banana gives them confidence.
Meshida-san, shut the fuck up.
Thank you very much for watching the Japan Report. If you really enjoy watching this video, please check out my Patreon page. I make special contents for only Patreon members. And Ken Suzuki has his own YouTube channel. Please subscribe to his channel.
I'm funny.
And I heard that many famous hot springs, for example, the Hakone area, have also been bought by Chinese money. And they try to bring in many Chinese guests. Ken-san, is it true?
Yes. In the future, Japanese hot springs will be Chinese people's heated swimming pools. Just so you know, if you come to Japan, you shouldn't actually swim in the hot springs.
Where else has been bought?
Many of Kyoto's traditional areas.
But I think it's very difficult for Chinese people to do business in Kyoto because people in Kyoto are famous for tatemae and hone, or the public facade versus their actual feelings. Even Japanese people cannot understand what they actually want. They always say things in a polite way. For example, if they say, "Would you like to have another cup of tea?" it actually means, "Get the fuck out."
Chinese people drink 5 more cups of tea and go back home happily.
But I think it's quite difficult to become familiar with the area, and Kyoto's unique culture.
Chinese people are mentally tough. Instead of becoming familiar with the local culture, they create their own community.
I see. Then Kyoto will be a traditional Chinatown which has 4,000 years of history.
Recently, many Chinese middle-aged men come to Japan to visit sexual establishments and make love to Japanese women. Before, our sex establishments didn't accept foreigners, but nowadays, our economy is stagnant and people are poor, so many young men don't go to brothels. But on the other hand, many women work in the sex industry to earn money. So some sex establishments started accepting foreigners. Since China's GDP exceeds Japan's, many Chinese men come to Japan as a sex trip.
That's what our Japanese middle-aged men did in Thailand and the Philippines. Finally, Japan has lost power and become a sex trip destination. I am so sad.
Meshida-san, don't worry. On that point, our Japanese politicians still have power.
Why?
For them, China is a sex trip destination. And they don't even need to pay. In fact, they can receive money.
I see. Our Japanese politicians are trying to save face as Japanese, even at the risk of being secretly filmed in a sex tape. They are visiting China and doing business.
Hi, foreigners. Before the Japanese flag's red circle changes into a red star, please come and enjoy traveling around Japan.
Because in the future, some places might be prohibited to enter in Japan or China's Japan. We don't want to be like that. We love our country.
But many Japanese people take peace for granted and aren't taking this situation seriously. So, unfortunately, it may happen.
I'm afraid in the future, someone will find this video and report it to a Chinese agency, and we will be sent to an education camp.
Meshida-san. 中国万岁！谁谁你来看我？
谢谢。
再见。
Thank you very much for watching this video. Now I'm organizing my solo stand-up comedy show and new comedy tour in Yoshiwara district. If you are interested in that, please check out the link below and don't forget to check out my Patreon page too.
飯だ。Today's feature is about the Japanese, who are listed as endangered species, and there are only a few hundred of them left alive on the planet today. Once upon a time, there were over 100 million Japanese, but today there are only a few left. This is Ken Suzuki, a Japanese man who is currently being cared for next to a panda in a protected area of the Japanese Autonomous Region in China. It is said that the development of technology is the main reason why the Japanese population has become so phenomenally low and designated as an endangered species. Especially with the development of the VR world, life in the virtual world has become more important than in the real world, and many Japanese people have come to enjoy romance with anime characters in the virtual world rather than romance in the real world. Because of this, the population has drastically decreased. We asked Mr. Ken Suzuki, an endangered species of Japanese, about this.
リアルな人間は定期的に うんこをしたり、変なところに毛が生えていたり、朝口が臭かったり、突然不機嫌になったり、やっぱりバーチャルな女性の方がいいですね。
Also, the rapid decrease of the Japanese population. It is obvious that the Japanese population has become less sexually active.
キスをしたり、性交渉することはバクテリアの交換になりますからね。細菌を交換することになります。とても不衛生で病気のリスクになります。とても不潔ですね。気持ち悪い。
In Japan, sex services other than penetration were permitted at brothels, which led to the development of a wide variety of play other than penetration, and the image of penetration as an illegal act. This has led to the general public avoiding the act of penetration. When the Japanese population began to decline, many couples were still trying to have children, and it is said that those couples who were unable to have children were undergoing infertility treatment. However, according to data from doctors at the time, the most common cause of infertility among couples seeking infertility treatment was sexlessness. So, it can be said that from this time on, we were already on the road to extinction. In addition, fantasy-laden adult videos were mass-produced. The lack of proper sex education was also a major cause. Ken-san here also doesn't show any interest in sexual intercourse with women. The Chinese staff at the zoo are satisfying Ken's sexual desires by projecting images of a crowded train. Looking back at the past, we first saw a rapid increase in the number of middle-aged single men like Ken Suzuki in Japan. The rapid advance of women in society accelerated the isolation of low-income middle-aged men. The marriage rate had decreased dramatically as more women enter the workforce and earn as much or more than their male counterparts. A decade ago, before women's advancement into the workforce, marriage for women meant marrying a man with higher income than their own. Ascending marriages was a norm, and many men were the object of women's marriages. However, as women entered the workforce, the Japanese economy stagnated and the number of low-income men increased. The number of marriages had plummeted dramatically. Since women always tended to prefer men with higher income and education than themselves, there was no longer any demand for low-income men, and the more money women made, the less they had to marry, leading to a downward spiral. As a result, middle-aged low-income contract workers like Ken Suzuki were not in demand from women. They immersed themselves in a virtual world, dreaming of romance with beautiful women in their 20s. Men like Ken Suzuki have lived their lives being looked down upon by women and subjected to discriminatory words. They are afraid of real women and lock themselves in their rooms at the sight of women. In particular, he has a tremendous fear of white women who have encouraged women's social advancement in Japan and promoted feminism in Japan. The fear of white women is so great that the sight of a white woman causes a panic disorder.
White beach! White beach! White beach! White beach!
In order to prevent the extinction of the Japanese, the Chinese government is promoting a policy of protecting the Japanese in protected areas. Currently, it is possible to observe the Japanese in the protected areas. However, Japanese people tend to commit suicide as soon as they feel stressed. We are calling on all visitors to use caution in the protected areas. First, do not speak to them in Japanese. Japanese people think they have to praise foreigners when they speak Japanese, saying, your Japanese is very good. They feel much stress because they have to lie. Also, if you try to speak to them in English, they will run away and say, I don't speak English. The best thing to do is to not talk to them. Don't say anything, just point the camera at them. They will be happy to give you a smile when you point the camera at them. In addition, Japanese people are generally confined to their rooms all day long. The only time they go outside is when they eat. Even if you are lucky enough to talk to a Japanese person, be careful not to look them in the eye. Japanese people are not good with eye contact. The most important thing to keep in mind is Japanese tatemae. Japanese people are always considerate of the other person. Even if they want to end the conversation with you and go back to their room, it's very difficult for them to say this. If a Japanese person compliments your watch in the middle of a conversation, it means it's time to go home. Please help us prevent the extinction of the endangered Japanese people. Thank you very much.
Meshida-san, shut the fuck up!
Meshida.
I'm now organizing a comedy quiz show and tour in one of Tokyo's most notorious red light districts, not Kabukicho, but Yoshiwara. Historically, Yoshiwara was a true red light district of Tokyo. If you are curious about its wild history and the world of Japanese sex establishments, come join my comedy quiz tour in Yoshiwara, Tokyo. Please check out the link below.